Welcome back, boys. This is part 2 of ranking the most attractive muscle groups that you need to train, ranking them all the way from panty dropper, the absolute pinnacle of attractive muscles that you need to train for maximum attraction, all the way down to complete copes. Shit that you don't really need to train if you want to be attractive and actually get attention and respect in the real world. So jumping straight into it, we're going in to the first muscle, which is the upper traps. Now, I'm honestly gonna straight away say that these are not as important. A lot of guys go on about how you need to build a back, and this is absolutely true. I talk about this all the time. However, if you build massive upper traps, it's going to actually take away from the coveted V-taper physique. You want to be built like an upside down triangle like this, but if you're building mass up here, it's going to kind of make you look too trapezoidal and kind of weird. And if you see like most of the aesthetic guys, like David Lade specifically, he kind of has like a flat clavicle, and it makes it look wider. It gives that impression of it being wider because he has smaller traps. But if you get massive bulky traps, it takes away the width effect and the V-taper effect and makes you kind of look more like vertically grown. So for that reason, I'm going to say they're actually pretty cope. Okay. Next, we're jumping into the hamstrings, it looks like. So this is actually quite surprising. This is what you do need to have a good physique, because the hamstrings are going to reinforce your posture. They're going to just make you look well-rounded. You can't have chicken legs. If you want to be aesthetic, you have to be well-rounded. I talk about this all the time. So for that reason, I'm going to say they are required. They are not hugely important, because no girl has ever said to a guy, oh my god, like, he has massive hamstrings, I'm so fucking attracted to that. It's not really a massive thing, but you do need it to be a well-rounded athlete. Next, we have the chest, but we have the lower chest portion, it looks like. Now, this is definitely going to be important, okay? You do need to have a built chest if you want a well-rounded, aesthetic, attractive physique, all right? However, there are different types or different parts of the chest that you should be focusing on. Upper chest is definitely more important than the lower chest. However, if you have a good lower chest, it is what creates that kind of like separation between your torso, your ab region, and the start of your chest, okay? You can't have it flat and big up here, nor can you have it just big at the bottom and flat at the top, because then you get that saggy, droopy tit look, which we obviously don't want. If we want to look at us from the side, we want our chest to be big, and we want it to have a shelf effect. So that way in shirts, we're going to be looking more masculine and bigger in general. But if I had to choose, I would say lower chest is not going to be a total game changer, but it is very, very important, okay? Next, we're going to have the rear deltoids, okay? This is the back portion of the shoulder. Now, I think that these are very, very important to building a good, attractive physique. However, it's not a muscle that really gets like a lot of recognition for being attractive or being seen as, in the female gaze. And that's exactly what we're optimizing for here, right? We're trying to go from, a loser, a skinny guy, or maybe a fat guy, to building a good physique. And to build a good physique, we need to be focusing on the attractive muscle groups. The shoulders are definitely attractive muscle groups, but they're not just like the hamstrings, they're not a sought out muscle where girls are going to be like, oh my god, I'm so fucking horny for this guy's rear delts. No, it's other muscle groups, which we're going to explain. So for that reason, I'm still going to put it in important, because it's going to create the round effect of your shoulder, which again, in shirts, you need to have round, broad, spherical shoulders to actually have that masculine aesthetic look, because a lot of guys in the gym, they don't have big shoulders at all. They have small shoulders. And when you have small shoulders, it just signals that you're not that masculine, okay? That's why a lot of my content, I talk about boosting testosterone as well, because it inherently is going to allow your shoulders to be bigger as well, because they are concentrated with androgen receptors. So you still need to have big shoulders. Rear delts are very, very important for aesthetics and having that round look. But for attraction, it's not going to do a whole lot individually, but when you partner that with big shoulders, they are going to be on the money. So they are still very, very important. Next, we're jumping into the quads, but it looks like we're jumping into the outer quads. In my past video, I talked about the VMO, or the inner quads, which is that teardrop sweeping effect. And that is very, very attractive if you're trying to be athletic and if you're trying to create the illusion of having big aesthetic legs, okay? Because it's one of the first things that people look at if you're wearing fucking slut shorts, like right up to your, ass, like, those booty shorts that you wear. If you have big VMOs or big inner quads, they're very, very good. The outer quads, however, I'm going to still say that they are the same because we do need big legs. However, it's not incredibly important. Let me know what you guys think about the outer quads, but it's not incredibly important to having a, really attractive physique because you don't need massive, massive legs. And a lot of times, if you have massive outer quads, your legs are going to be huge, but we still need them developed, and we develop them by doing things like squats and stuff. So again, I'm going to say that is required. It's not a crazy deal. If you just have the teardrop muscle, you can kind of get away with your leg training, provided they're not absolute skeleton chicken legs like I used to have. So for that reason, it's going to go into required. Definitely not on the higher spectrum. Definitely not going to get you the defining factor of why a girl would want to date you or whatnot. Okay, and remember, we're optimizing for attraction here, the attractive muscles. Okay, the muscles that are going to get us attraction and respect from girls, as well as like respect from dudes as well. Right. Next, we have the deltoids, but we have the front deltoids. Again, this is another individual part of the shoulder. However, I'm going to say that these are actually quite important, right? I'm going to put them in eye catcher because if you do a lot of chest press movements, you're going to be targeting your front delts a lot, okay? As well as shoulder presses, and even doing front raises is going to target them directly in an isolation. The reason why I'm going to say they are eye catchers is if you are in a tank top, if you are, in any form of clothing where your shoulder is exposed and you have good front delts from getting good at heavy pressing and front raises, what's going to happen is you're likely going to have a lot of vascularity and veins in this area, especially if you get lean, which again is about building the female gaze physique, the attractive physique. If you have this well-developed front delt and you're lean and you have veins there, it's going to make you stand out from other guys. Whenever I go into the gym and I do side delt raises, I do get a front delt pump as well. And there are veins, just fucking cock veins running down my shoulder. And I get looks at it. And that is the key defining factor of why someone would say that I'm on steroids. It's because I have veiny shoulders. So if you can actually build these up and get lean at the same time, they're definitely going to be an eye catcher. And big shoulders, again, will definitely make you stand out because they are a signal of higher masculinity. Because again, if you have bigger shoulders, people are going to accuse you of being on fucking roids and pinning in your ass, okay? And look, if you do want to build this physique, this attractive physique that will get you optimized for the female gaze and stop you being invisible and actually have you stand out, then that's exactly why I created my community Project Undeniable, which you can check the link for in the description. It contains not only the roadmap to building the good physique, but also how to make yourself glow up completely, masculinize yourself, and how to present yourself as an attractive guy in the real world. Because so many guys are gym cells. So many guys don't know what the fuck they're doing. So many young guys are struggling. They're going back and forth just like I did. But it's when I truly mastered these three categories, that's when I was actually able to develop my social life, my dating life, and my general confidence and glow up procedure and process the most. Okay, so check the link below if you're interested in that. But moving on, we have the final exercise in this part 2 of the list. Biceps. Okay, you would have to be a fool if you thought that biceps were not going into cope. Just fucking kidding. They are going to absolute panty dropper muscle tier. Okay, biceps are literally one of the most attractive muscles. You know it, right? You've seen it on Instagram, you've seen it on TikTok, you've seen it on YouTube, you've seen it fucking everywhere. Girls biting their boyfriend's biceps. I had a girl biting my biceps the other day. My friend had fucking bruises on his bicep from his girl biting his bicep. They are the most attractive muscle group, or one of the most attractive muscle groups. If you have big biceps, they signal masculinity, they signal strength. They're shown everywhere in dating scenarios, in social settings, at school, wherever you're wearing a short sleeves shirt, your biceps are shown, okay? It's a key indicator of if you lift or not. Everyone is going to talk about how big your biceps are. Okay, nobody's looking at how big your hamstrings are, how big your fucking calves are. They care about biceps. Popeye had big biceps. All the guys who get attraction and are masculine have big biceps. Biceps are an absolute panty dropper, and they just fucking, especially if they're veiny, especially if you're lean, which you get through building the female gaze attractive physique, they are just a complete game changer. And it's when I changed my arms and actually grew them and built bigger biceps and focused on getting that aesthetic peak and wearing nice tight fitting shirts, that's when I got the craziest sexual results and attraction results, because they are simply just biologically attractive, okay? So there we have it. That is the part 2 list of the most attractive muscle groups rated all the way from panty dropper down to coat muscles that you don't really need to be training, okay? If you want part 3, there are more muscles to rank. If you want part 3, then comment down below. Remember to like and subscribe. If you do want to build that physique and change your life forever, check the link in the description. You can join and go through all the in-depth modules and the tools that I've attached there. But with that being said, remember, the progress is purpose, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.